Accidents and disasters are another topic that you might cover as a news reporter. Critics often accuse the media of sensationalizing tragedy, saying if it bleeds, it leads. As a result, editors need to maintain standards and use their best judgment to determine what accidents and disasters to cover. You want to consider the severity. Did a car hit a deer and just have some minor property damage but no human injuries? Then that very likely isn't newsworthy. That's the impact news value, or lack thereof. How many people were affected? Maybe that one-car deer accident delayed or shut down I-40 traffic for 2 hours during rush hour. That would make it newsworthy. Otherwise, the impact news value remains low, even if one person was taken to the hospital. Is it local? Major flooding in Raleigh or Durham is typically more relevant to your audience than a flood in Rio de Janeiro. That's the proximity value. As a radio news reporter, I wrote a number of stories on traffic accidents. You usually lead with what or who, such as one person was injured in a bicycle vehicle accident at the South Point shopping mall in Durham Friday morning. Hear how I use the delayed identification lead? The name of the person, unless it's a prominent citizen, is not as newsworthy as the accident itself. You would delay naming the victims until the second or third paragraph. Now let's continue with this fictional story. Diane Smith, 37 of Chapel Hill, was backing out of a parking space when her vehicle collided with a bicycle ridden by Jimmy Miller, 19 of Durham. You then distribute key facts logically through the first key paragraphs. Miller was taken by ambulance to Duke University Hospital and treated for minor injuries. Smith was not injured. There's generally no need to identify police by name. The incident is under investigation by police is fine. There's no need to say the incident is under investigation by the Durham City Police Department, said Lieutenant Evan Little. When a real disaster strikes, your news training will kick in on the scene. Go where the action is. Josh Meyer, veteran reporter of the Los Angeles Times, says find out where the dead bodies are and go to them. Perhaps better advice is that found in the St. Paul Pioneer Press Disaster Reporting Manual. Head for the biggest mess and look for people who are visibly upset. Question authorities first, as they likely have the least time to talk. Now don't interrupt their official duties, but get what you can as soon as you can, as it might be the only official information you receive on the scene. Then move on to victims and eyewitnesses. Be sure to get their contact information in case you need to reach them later. Use your observation skills to record details as to what is happening on the scene. You want your readers to feel like they're present when they read your story. Check in with your editors often. They may want you to send in periodic updates for breaking news, rather than wait until you return to the newsroom to submit the full story. You'll also want to communicate with your editors about where photographers should be. And remember that when in doubt, the best camera is the one you have with you. Cell phone pictures are far from ideal, but they're better than nothing. If you can get a photographer down to the scene, that's even better. When reporting and writing fire stories, there are a few things to keep in mind. Be sure to identify yourself. Unless you're carrying a huge video camera with your news organization's logo right on the side, make sure your press credentials are right in plain sight. Find the command post. That's where you'll find the fire battalion chief coordinating the operation. Then introduce yourself to command. They'll either be able to assist you or refer you to someone else. Get as close as you can while maintaining your safety. Be sure to observe any yellow police line "Do not cross" tape. Wear boots and be prepared to go home smelling of smoke. Remember that while firefighters can provide dramatic details for your story, They only see part of what's happening. Firefighters can gauge structural damage, but you'll want to talk to the fire marshal for the official cause of fire and damage cost estimates. Finally, be specific with the language you use. Don't call something a, quote, towering inferno. Another thing to note is that in order to be destroyed, a building has to be ruined beyond recovery. Something can't be partially destroyed. Either it is or it isn't. And if you aren't sure, say it's damaged. When covering fires, follow this formula to help organize your story. Death or serious injury is usually the lead. If no one is injured, focus on the most compelling aspect of the story, likely the property damage. You'll want to cover the aftermath of the fire. What is happening to the people who lost their homes? What started the fire? Is there a trend forming? Stories about fires may offer an opportunity to use narrative storytelling. They unfold best chronologically, or in the martini glass style that begins with the inverted pyramid lead and then moves on to a chronological telling. Crime stories can also take on a special writing style and structure. You'll want to add color, not clutter. Now, police have their own lingo, and you'll need to decipher their jargon for your readers. Be sure to keep your language clear and simple. Avoid sloppy allegations. In this country, people are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Even if you stumble upon a dead body and a second person standing over the corpse with a bloody knife, all you really know is that one person is dead. It's up to the police, and later the courts, to sort out what actually happened, and up to you to not convict a person prematurely. Doing so could get you sued for libel if it turns out the knife wielder wasn't the killer after all. Slapping the word alleged in front of a person's name doesn't do much to prove innocence either. Instead, try to separate the suspect from the crime. Someone wasn't charged with murder. The person was arrested in connection with a murder. Just like with fire stories, crimes often involve dramatic sequences of events. So a chronological story form might be the best way to tell that story. Don't forget about the martini glass style, though. Again, this one starts with the traditional inverted pyramid lead, goes into chronological style, and then ends with a kicker. An ending that concludes the story in a clever way, such as a surprise, a punchline, or a memorable quote. To cover a crime beat, a journalist must first get familiar with police procedures. Arrange for a ride-along, take a tour of a forensics lab, and otherwise educate yourself about what's going on. Police won't have time to answer your procedural questions in the middle of a crime scene. Get copies of blank police reports so you'll know exactly what to request later. Use a police scanner and either memorize or keep a list handy of what various ID numbers and codes mean. When something big gets called in, get to the scene. There's also a police scanner app for your phone. Look for trends, patterns, and connections between crimes. Convey the human drama. Crime isn't just about cops. It's about the real people that are impacted by crime. The victims and survivors, their families, and the families of the accused. Finally, don't print confessions. You've probably watched enough TV crime dramas to know that suspects might give a false confession because of a misunderstanding or coercion. Don't trust a confession until it is admitted as evidence during a trial. When covering crime, there are some things you should keep out of your story. Generally, the names of minors are kept out of news stories. This includes both those minors accused of crimes and those who are the victims or survivors. A minor may, however, be named if being tried as an adult. Survivors of sexual assault are usually not named in news stories to protect them from public scrutiny. Some newspapers also keep the names of defendants in sexual assault cases private until the person is convicted. If naming victims or survivors may threaten their safety or expose them to further harm, those names may also be withheld from publication. Don't label someone as a suspect. People and police may just be seeking information from any number of people for a variety of reasons. Just because the police want to talk to someone about a crime does not mean the person is guilty. Finally, avoid stereotyping people. Referencing a defendant's race, ethnicity, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, or lifestyle may reflect negatively on everyone with that identity. Omit that information unless truly relevant, such as when police release a physical description.